everyone, this is Jennifer Stay from Coloring Pages Bliss, and I'm back for part 3 of my Sharpie Coloring Secrets. So let's get started. Okay, in part 3 we're going to move on to doing some Sharpie blending. So I have some leaves drawn here, very professional, amazingly drawn leaves. And what we're going to do is show you how to do some blending, and we're going to kind of work with the way that the markers saturate down into the paper. And so we're going to work with one marker, and then we're going to work with 2 markers, and then we're going to work with 3 markers. And so we're going to start out with the lightest color for our 1 marker color blend up here. And so I'm going to write here that this is just using 1 marker. And the way we're going to do this first is just lay down a base layer of the color. And we're going to work with the properties of the alcohol marker, which is, remember how we talked about when you first lay down that pen, the first time you touch that marker down, sometimes there's some pooling of ink, that first place the tip touches. And so you want to kind of plan, all right, I want the deepest part of the color of this leaf to be down here. So every time I touch down, plan a little extra ink heading into that part of the leaf. And so I'm going to plan to touch down as much as possible right here so that I get as much extra ink into that deep color area. And that just starts out the process for me and gives me a head start. Okay, now that I've got the whole base layer laid down, I can start building up that color. And basically all I'm going to do is just go over this area and really work in the ink and saturate that wet ink into the dark area. And I'm kind of working and picturing more ink here, less ink up here. And so I'm kind of feathering my strokes as I go. And then I can do shorter strokes down here so we get more ink saturating down into that leaf down here. When you're doing this kind of technique, it is really important that you have a piece of paper underneath the paper you're working on, because this is where you really are soaking that ink, and you know it's going to bleed through to the back. And so you want to just plan on it. Have a piece of paper back there to catch any bleed through. Now, the other thing you want to keep in mind when you're doing this kind of work is that as the ink dries, it's going to change color slightly, and so you may want to come back and add a few more strokes and some more ink to kind of catch any areas that changed as the colors dried. Now, also this brings up another point. Most of the time, these Sharpie inks work better for blending techniques when the ink is still wet. So you want to kind of work fast. Work wet on wet is kind of the idea. Okay, so you can see with 1 marker we were able to really build up a very deep green down here, and because we left this tip of the leaf alone, it stayed very bright green, and we got a beautiful blend just with 1 marker. Very cool. Okay, so now we're going to go on and try it again, and this time with 2 markers. Okay, so for a 2 marker blend, what I like to do is first lay down the base layer with the lightest layer first. Again, remember wherever you touch down first is going to be the most ink will come down first. So again, I want this to be my dark area, so I'm going to try to touch down as much as possible down here. Okay, now we go to our second color, which is this medium green, and I'm going to start building up this middle tone, kind of the 2/3 of the leaf, using this tone and doing nice deep coverage towards the bottom and some nice loose strokes towards the tip. And then extra strokes down here to really deepen up that green and give it a nice deep saturated color. Really pretty green down here. And then blend that up again. Good. And then grab that light first marker, the first green. And then we're going to blend this out, sort of bring the two greens together. Now if you feel like you went a little too heavy in here with your medium tone, you can go over it a little bit here. There will be a bit of a bleaching effect with this lighter green, but you have to be a little light-handed here because like you saw here, the more you use, it will also deepen up the color, so you got to be a little careful. And go nice and slow here. And then you're going to want to kind of let it dry for a minute, see what the colors look like as it dries now, and you can come back with probably your lightest color and do any touch-up and re-blending if it needs it. Okay, now we're going to go on to a 3-marker blend and see how that works out. Okay, again, first step is our lightest coat, our lightest base layer, and go over the whole leaf. Then grab your mid-tone. And kind of focus on 2/3 here. And we don't have to build up as much saturation of this tone at the bottom because we've got our 3rd tone to help us with that. Okay, and then we'll grab the 3rd color and build up a nice dark color at the very, very base, and then just sort of loose strokes to feather that color out up towards the center. And then you can go back to the mid-tone to help blend this part in a little bit better. Like that. And back to the light tone for one final blending up here. And I feel like I need just a little darker down here, so I'm going to hit it one more time with my darkest green, which is what is so fun about when you get the right paper and you're using these markers. You can go back and layer, and it almost feels limitless the amount of layering these markers can go. There does seem to be a point where the paper just feels like it's full of ink and it's not going to take any more, but it takes a while to get there, so that's fun. Okay. So much fun. All right, so that is part 3 of the Sharpie Coloring Secrets series. If you liked this, give it a thumbs up and stay tuned because we've got part 4 coming your way. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.